G'day trendsetters, today I'm coming to you from DeSalvo Cycles here in Ashland, Oregon. I've got a factory tour happening. Let's go inside and take a gander. Here we are, DeSalvo headquarters. There he is, the man himself, Mr. DeSalvo. All right, enough banging on, let's get him on camera and see what happens in this fine establishment.
So I'm Mike DeSalvo, one-man band here at DeSalvo Cycles. Built my first bike back in 1999 and have basically operated as a single-person operation since then. Unfortunately, right at the moment, I got a fractured shoulder, so I have a little bit of downtime, which is a bummer. But this is my little workshop here. Take a look around. You can see it's really set up just for one person. So the fixture that I use is made by Anvil Bike Works. Don Ferris is actually a wonderful friend of mine in the industry, and I actually met him many years ago when he came through United Bicycle Institute as a student. If you follow the bike building stuff, you'll know that Don for many years built lots of fixtures. But a few years he decided to hang it up, and now he's just having fun raising yaks, I think, out in Idaho or something. But really nice fixture, and I really appreciate it when it comes to the building. So over in the corner is my little welder, and welder's kind of another interesting thing that I got about 23, 24 years ago. It's kind of a funny one. It's a Miller welder, but it's actually doesn't say Miller anywhere on it because I purchased it from a guy who lived in Canada. So it's the old Maxstar 152, and there's a handful of us. It was the state of the art when I got into bike building. Things have gotten better, but it's kind of like an old jacket or something. I'll never get rid of it. I really love it, so it works well for me. And over here is my workbench. There's a bunch of steel tubes. You've got some titanium tubes. Obviously the little trays there are the ways that I organize the tubes as I'm getting them ready for a build. Workbench is a little bit messy, kind of the way I left it a few weeks ago when I had the mishap with my shoulder. I don't know, some files and just other hand tools up there on the bench, on the back of the bench, all pretty standard metalworking bike building stuff, I think. Up on the wall are some bikes in progress, and most of these are definitely going to be gravel bikes. That's pretty much what I build these days, kind of the gravel or some of the all-road, which will take a tire up to about a 38. Seems to be the most popular thing. Over here is the main vertical mill I use, and we were just talking about it, and Jason asked, well, it's not a Bridgeport, and it's not. It's actually still a vertical mill, but it's a smaller version of that. And I suppose the funny story about that mill is that the reason that it is the size that it is when I started building bikes, I was just in a little one-car garage, and this machine was a whole lot easier for me to get in there than a full-size Bridgeport would be because it's a lot lighter. And I always thought at some point I would get a full-size Bridgeport, but here I am. Almost 25 years into bike building, and this one served me well, so I'll just hang on to it. And then a drill press and another little vertical mill here, and what this vertical mill is set up for is just to do seat stays, so it's kind of a single operation setup. Just saves me a lot of time, a lot of back and forth. But between these two machines are where kind of most of the action happens. Front triangles get mitered on the green vertical mill, and then seat stays are done in this little bench top. So I started out building both steel and titanium, but probably about 8 or 10 years ago, the shift has really been more towards titanium. So I would say these days it's probably about 80 or 90% titanium, and the rest is going to be steel. As I mentioned, the gravel bikes are just since about 2014 or 15, that's about all I've been building. Back then, I think it was either 2014 or 2015 NABs, when Envy first introduced their GRD fork, and I had one of those. And I don't know, that really set things into play for just a lot of gravel bikes. And I really like it. For my area, they're amazing. We get out, we've got tons of dirt roads, lots of gravel roads and things like that. After just saying I don't do too many steel bikes, this is actually a steel bike that was recently finished. I'm kind of waiting to get to where my shoulder is doing better, so I can get it prepped and shipped out of here. So for steel bikes, most of what I do is going to be Columbus steel. The gravel bikes are going to fit. This one uses the NV gravel fork, so I'm going to match the clearances front and back. So what I always tell people, if you want your 50 to fit, you're going to get 62 millimeters of frame clearance. So it's not that the tire is going to fit, it's going to fit and be usable. This one is mechanical shifting, so you can see the external stuff for the mechanicals, although the hydraulic line is inside the down tube there. Through axles, all the standard stuff that we're doing these days.
What are your thoughts on integrated cockpits?
The integrated cockpit thing is where I guess I show my age. I'm torn. I don't know what to say. Don't quote me. In a couple of years I'll probably be doing them, but I struggle with the whole making it just that much trickier to swap a stem. I mean, do they clean things up? Sure, but how much? I don't know. It's an interesting thing that we're going through. I mean, this bike actually is also, it's a little port down here for the dropper. So obviously the dropper isn't going to be, I don't know that I guess unless we went wireless, nobody's got that one integrated yet. So, yeah, I'll say I'm not quite there yet, but not to say I won't get there. I'm super excited to have you in town. Fact that I've been sharing with everybody is that the gravel hugger that you'll be doing tomorrow down in the snow is actually where I grew up. So the house that I grew up in is just 2 blocks from where the gravel hugger start line is. So I know those roads well, rode a lot of that stuff back in the 80s, back before we had gravel bikes, and we just rode them on our road bikes. So it's a super amazing area. There's very few cars. Montague's a town of 1,000 people. So it's really neat that the gravel hugger has kind of brought some interest to that area, because it is a wonderful little place. All right, thank you so much again for swinging by. I am really disappointed that I won't be out there riding the gravel hugger this year. That was actually on my list of to-dos. If you want to check my stuff out, DeSalvoCycles.com is a website, and DeSalvo Bicycles is where you find me on Instagram. So hope to see you all out there on the road.